Singapore is the easiest city in the world to visit. The MRT goes everywhere and costs almost nothing. Every sign is in English. The streets are clean and the food is extraordinary, and the safety is so complete that the concept of being vigilant, which most urban travel requires as background processing, simply switches off. You land, you navigate, you eat, you see things, and nothing requires effort in the way that effort is normally required in travel. This ease is genuine, and it's one of the best things about Singapore. It's also, consistently, the primary reason tourists leave having seen less of the city than they think they did. Here is the specific trap. Singapore's efficiency is so complete, its modern infrastructure so impressive, its tourist circuit so well organized, that it's possible to spend 4 days there moving fluently between Marina Bay sands, Gardens by the Bay, the Singapore Botanic Gardens, Sentosa Island, and Orchard Road, all excellent in their own right, and come home with an experience of Singapore that is accurate as far as it goes and almost entirely misses what makes the city genuinely extraordinary. The ease doesn't help you find the city. It helps you avoid the friction that would have made you find it accidentally. Start with the misconception that shapes most Singapore itineraries before they begin, that Singapore is primarily a city of futuristic architecture and luxury shopping, with some Chinese New Year decorations added for cultural texture. This misconception is understandable, and the city has partly earned it. The Marina Bay skyline, the 3 towers of the Sands complex, the super trees of Gardens by the Bay, the jewel at Changi Airport with its indoor waterfall, the newer developments along the waterfront, is a genuine architectural achievement that no amount of cultural authenticity anxiety should stop you from appreciating. These things are spectacular, and they were built with serious intent and real skill, and they deserve the attention they get. The mistake isn't visiting them. The mistake is visiting them and stopping there, because stopping there means missing the city that existed before them and that still exists alongside them in the neighborhoods that the tourist circuit largely bypasses. Singapore is a city of 4 cultures: Chinese, Malay, Indian, and the layer of British colonial and Peranakan hybrid culture that runs through all 3, each of which occupies its own district, maintains its own food traditions, runs its own temples and mosques and churches and clan associations, and produces a texture of daily life that is as specific and as dense as anything in Southeast Asia. These cultures are not tourist reconstructions. They are the actual operating communities that have been in these neighborhoods for generations, and the government's policy of multiculturalism, whatever its critics, has produced a city where the distinctness of each community is preserved with unusual consistency for a country of this size and wealth. Chinatown in Singapore is the clearest example of this, producing both the tourist version and the real version in close proximity. The Pagoda Street and Trengganu Street section, the one with the lanterns and the preserved shop houses converted into souvenir stalls, is the version most tourists see, and it's pleasant and photogenic and has been optimized for visitor consumption in ways that make it comfortable and remove the texture that gave the neighborhood its character. Walk 2 streets away, and you're in the Chinatown that still functions as a neighborhood. The wet market on Sago Lane, where the morning's produce arrives before 7. The hawker centers where the old ladies sell the same dishes their mothers sold. The clan associations with their red facades and their ancestral halls. The Sri Mariamman Temple, the oldest Hindu temple in Singapore, in the middle of Chinatown. A reminder that the city's communities have never been as neatly separated as the district names imply. This Chinatown costs nothing to access and requires only the willingness to walk past the souvenir block. Little India is the most sensory neighborhood in the city and the one most dramatically undervisited by tourists who decided Singapore was a place for sleek modernity. The area around Serangoon Road, the flower garland sellers, the textile shops with bolts of silk stacked to the ceiling, the Mustafa Center, which is an enormous department store that never closes and sells everything from saris to electronics to fresh mangoes at 3 in the morning. The Sri Veeramakaliamman Temple, with its riot of sculpted figures, is the most intensely alive part of Singapore and the one least touched by the city's signature polish. It's also on Sunday afternoons, where a significant portion of Singapore's South Asian migrant worker community gathers, thousands of men in their day off, and the atmosphere of that gathering is a reminder that the gleaming city-state runs on labor that the postcard version of Singapore rarely shows. Kampong Glam, The historic Malay Quarter around the golden-domed Sultan Mosque has undergone the most visible gentrification of any Singapore neighborhood in the last decade. The streets around Haji Lane are now lined with independent boutiques and specialty coffee shops and wall murals that attract weekend crowds with cameras. But the mosque itself remains a genuine center of Islamic worship and community life. And the blocks beyond the boutique strip, particularly around the Old Arab Street and the Textile Center, maintain a character that predates the Instagram economy. The Geylang district, which has a complicated reputation that keeps most tourists away, is simultaneously the city's red light zone and its most authentic hawker food destination, where the durian sellers and the frog porridge stalls and the 24-hour coffee shops operate at the intersection of the city Singapore officially presents and the city Singapore actually contains. Both are real. The tourist who knows only the former is missing a significant percentage of what the city is. The hawker center question deserves its own treatment because food in Singapore is the primary cultural experience and the primary place where the tourist circuit and the real city most clearly diverge. Singapore's hawker food is one of the great culinary achievements of any city on earth. The variety, the quality, the price, the concentration of specifically distinct regional Chinese and Malay and Indian and mixed heritage cooking traditions in a single country is extraordinary. The city has produced 2 hawker stalls with Michelin stars, which is less surprising than it sounds once you've eaten the right things in the right places. But the right places are almost never the hawker centers that appear in travel guides specifically aimed at tourists, not because those places are bad. They're often good, but because the ones not in travel guides operate without the performance pressure that shapes a food destination once it's been discovered. The specific hawker mistake is eating at Maxwell Food Center, Lau Pa Sat, and the Chinatown complex, all of which are genuinely good and all of which are on every list, while missing the neighborhood hawker centers in Tiong Bahru, Gim Mo, Old Airport Road, and Chomp Chomp in Serangoon Gardens, where the clientele is local and the quality is calibrated accordingly. The Tiong Bahru Hawker Center on a weekend morning, when the neighborhood's mix of elderly residents and young families fills the plastic tables and the queue for the Chui K rice cake stall extends past the entrance, is the most specifically Singaporean food experience available in the city, and it costs $3. The heritage trails that Singapore's National Heritage Board has mapped across the city are one of the best-kept timing secrets in Southeast Asian travel, and almost no international tourist uses them. These are self-guided walking routes through the historic districts, the blue trail through Tanjong Pagar, the red trail through Chinatown, the green trail through the civic district, that are free, well-marked, and deliver the layered history of each neighborhood in a format that a walk without guidance simply doesn't produce. The Tanjong Pagar Trail specifically, which moves through the oldest surviving shophouse district in Singapore, past the Inshang Hill area and the Keong Saik Road neighborhood, delivers a version of Singapore that the city's own residents often don't know as well as they should. It takes about 90 minutes and costs nothing, and is worth doing before you spend a morning in the Marina Bay area, so that the skyline you see from the waterfront means something in context. The timing mistake in Singapore is less about seasons. The city is equatorial and warm and humid year-round with no dramatically better or worse period, though avoiding the worst of the afternoon heat by planning outdoor activities for mornings is common sense rather than seasonal planning. And more about the specific events and occasions when Singapore reveals something of itself that the regular tourist calendar doesn't provide. The Thaipusam procession in January or February, when Tamil Hindu devotees carry kavadis, elaborate metal frames attached to the body through piercings, from Sri Srimavasa Perumal Temple to the Chettiar's Temple, is one of the most extraordinary public religious events in Asia and happens in plain sight in the streets of Little India and is attended by thousands of locals and a relatively small number of tourists who knew to be there. The Hungry Ghost Festival in August, when offerings are burned on the streets outside almost every shophouse and flat in the Chinese neighborhoods, and Wyong opera stages appear in vacant lots, is as culturally specific an expression of Chinese folk religion as you'll find anywhere outside China. These are not performances staged for visitors. They happen with or without an audience. The last mistake is the one that underlies all the others, and that is specific to Singapore in a way it isn't to most other cities, treating the ease of the place as an achievement of the visit rather than as a condition of it. Visiting Singapore without friction is easy. Finding Singapore requires the decision to look for it, which the city's efficiency removes any necessity to make. The MRT will take you to Orchard Road as readily as to Geylang. The food court in the mall is as accessible as the hawker center down the block. The tourist district is as navigable as the heritage district and significantly more visible from any map or app. The choice to find the harder version of the city, harder not because it's logistically difficult, but because it requires deliberate curiosity rather than passive navigation, is entirely yours, and the city won't make it for you. What that curiosity finds, when it operates in Singapore, is something unexpected in a city of this wealth and this size. A genuine multiplicity of living cultures in close proximity, still specific and still distinct, operating in the shadow of the most efficient city-state in the world, and somehow maintaining their character despite it. The ease of Singapore is the surface. The four cultures underneath it are the substance. The mistake is concluding that a city this easy to navigate has given you everything it has once you've navigated it. It hasn't. It's just made it very comfortable to stay on the surface. Going deeper is entirely possible and entirely up to you. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, smash that like button and subscribe to When to Travel. We're all about helping you make smarter travel decisions. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. And hey, if you think your friends need this, share it. Comment below with your next destination or your biggest travel question. I'm reading all of them. Let's go.